I found a simple automation that I've used to make hundreds of thousands of dollars every year with e-commerce, and I've used it on client stores making over $200,000 every single year. It massively increases profits, it massively increases revenue and saves costs, and in this video I'm going to give you the exact automation and framework for free. So you're going to learn how even a beginner can use this to increase their profits by over 100%. So for every sale you're going to be doubling the amount of profit that you're making. I'm going to give you the exact framework that million-dollar brands are using to destroy their competition, an exact plug-and-play system that you can use in your business no matter how small or how large you are. It's going to have an effect. And I'm also going to show you the million-dollar automated business structure that's allowing businesses to absolutely print cash. And the reason this is happening is because it comes down to increasing these profits. Now, as an added bonus, if you stick around until the end of this video, you're also going to get free access to the exact automation framework that I used to scale client stores to over $200,000 every single month. And it's saving them hundreds of thousands of dollars every single year and increasing their conversion rates in their business. So here we go. Let's get started. I found e-commerce and dropshipping exactly the same way that you did. I didn't come into this, it didn't fall into my lap as making tens of thousands of dollars or hundreds of thousands of dollars overnight. And in fact, I actually started looking through YouTube and I found videos like these: Beginner's Guide to Dropshipping. I tried dropshipping. You've probably watched some of these before. You've probably used watching these videos as motivation to get started or to see if it's even worth doing. And I was doing exactly the same thing, always looking for stuff and proof that's going to show me this is worth starting. And I was sold the idea that e-commerce and dropshipping would make me rich. I'm a bit of an introvert, and for me, it was the perfect business model. You've probably experienced exactly the same thing, where you're going to make tens of thousands of dollars. You can work wherever you want, anywhere in the world, sitting by a pool, just raking in money, maybe working half an hour to an hour every single day. So I went and I bought every single course I could find. I got on coaching and consulting calls with people. I tried to consume everything. And my thought process was, if I just learn everything, I cannot fail. So I then started and failed. It went catastrophically wrong. Whether you've started with dropshipping through TikTok marketing or you've started with advertising, you've probably seen the exact same results. Either you're getting no traffic and views or you're not getting any sales at all. And it's incredibly frustrating to get started with this. And it completely sucked. It was a total disaster. And at this point, I was like, this just may not be for me. I might give up. But every single time I was thinking of giving up, maybe you've been in the same position. Let me know in the comments, by the way, guys. If you've been in the same position, at every single stage, I was like, look, this is working for other people. It has to work for me. There's just got to be one thing that I need to find. I can't be doing everything wrong. It's just got to be one small little thing. But then I thought, as opposed to just listening to what these influencers are saying, I should probably study brands, have a look at proper TikTok marketing, see what the professionals are doing, analyze it myself. And I started to go ahead and look at different TikTok stores. This is an example of one that I found, right? Stores that are getting millions of views per videos. And I figured to myself, if I can just replicate exactly what they're doing, I will make it. I'll be fine. I'll start to make money. I'll start to get more traffic. I'll start to make more sales. So that's what I did. I spent ages analyzing, creating content, duplicating and replicating over and over again. And guys, just remember, it's putting in the reps, making sure that you're analyzing and learning. And as I started to do this, suddenly things started to change. I started to see some results and some success. You can see here this month, this store, $10,000 in revenue. And guys, just a quick sort of disclaimer here. This is over the period of a few years, right? This is a big change in stuff that's happening with me. I'm testing loads of side hustles. And at this point, I start to see some success with dropshipping. 53 orders, $10,000. This is the biggest month I had ever had in any business I had ever built. And I thought I was the king of the world. I thought at this point, $10,000 every single month, I'm making more than my family, my teachers, and everybody. I thought I had made it, right? And then I started to put in some more work. I started to scale these stores, build new stores. I had one that was doing $35,000 every single month, 604 orders. Hundreds of people were buying from me every single month. But I started to notice a problem, because although these numbers look really cool and flashy and exciting, behind the scenes, I was actually pulling my hair out. And if you guys have ever had a successful e-commerce store, you'll know exactly what I mean. Running a business is not as easy as these people make it out to be, and it is fraught with problems and difficulties. What were the problems that I faced? Well, first of all, I started to get disputes, and I couldn't understand why. At this time, I didn't actually know what disputes were. And basically, people go to their bank and they say that this payment was fraudulent, or I want my money back. And the reason they do this is because, and I realized this later, I was getting hundreds of emails coming in and I wasn't dealing with them. There was nothing, I didn't even realize that people were emailing me, and I was just ignoring them. And I had this idea in my head that if I ignored them, they would just go away. I had no idea how to hire a team. I was spending all of my time on marketing, but I didn't want to stop marketing to focus on back-end boring things like customer service, because that wasn't making me any money. So I thought, as long as I keep bringing in customers, this is not really a big deal. But very quickly it got out of hand. And again, guys, let me know in the comments if you've been through exactly the same thing, because as these disputes came in, here's what I didn't realize. For every single payment that was disputed, I was not only losing that dispute, and the reason I was losing these disputes is because orders just were taking forever, customer service was awful. But for every single dispute that I lost, I was also charged an additional $15. So, although my business was making $35,000 a month, I was probably spending tens of thousands of dollars over a few months on disputes and just trying to deal with this all falling apart. So I want you to realize this. This is what happens when you leave things. When you don't focus on the important things in your business. Suddenly I got an email saying we're no longer able to accept payments. The entire thing shut down. My business went from making a whole bunch of money to making nothing overnight. I had a whole load of money held up in Stripe. I had angry customers, and I just did not know what to do. So I started to analyze my business. I started to try and work out what was going on. And around the time, this is like this bit here, is before I got that Stripe notification. I started to realize that I needed somebody to help me. And this is like the first successful business that I ran. So I went on to Upwork. You guys may have used Upwork. And this is just on the advice of what those YouTubers say. And I hired a virtual assistant. Apparently I needed one, so I went and bought one. Which is basically just somebody in the Philippines who can do your emails for you, deal with your customer service, process refunds, deal with all of that. And it costs a fortune. Now, I was paying this person $6 an hour for 3 hours per day. And the reason it was 3 hours per day was because I had just so many emails coming in. It was ridiculous. And that is $18 a day, which isn't a lot of money considering I was making $30,000 a month. But don't forget, for every single payment that was disputed, I was paying $15 in fees. I was paying processing fees, shipping fees. So $35,000 without the problems isn't all profit. And now I'm paying an extra $360 per month. But I figured this is fine, right? As long as this is dealt with, it's not going to be the end of the world. This was like one employee in costs. And then it got worse because I realized that this employee wasn't actually doing the work they were supposed to do. They were basically just copying and pasting responses, and they weren't tailoring responses to the customers. A lot of the time they were sending the wrong emails. They weren't processing refunds. Things were just spiraling out of control and getting just awful. And guys, I fixed all of this, and I'm going to show you the exact framework that I used. In a minute, I had an epiphany, which I'm going to show you. It's insanely how easy I fixed this problem. And I started to then look at companies like Amazon, because I figured, right, the reason we use Amazon is because they have insane customer service. They have shipping times that are sometimes same-day delivery, and there's only one way that they're able to do that, because they have proper systems set up. So I thought, okay, let me just replicate this. Let me double down on the business and try and replicate this. But just as I was about to do this, I received the final nail in the coffin, and that was my ad account was shut down. So now I had lost my ad account. I had then lost my TikTok account, so I could no longer post organic videos. I'd lost my Stripe account around the same time, and within a matter of days, I'd gone from making $35,000 a month to zero. I was wiped out completely, all because I didn't understand how to set up a business properly. So what did I do to fix this? Well, I realized that actually what was happening is I was hooked on the dopamine drug that e-commerce and business and dropshipping gives you. I started off my business, and it all started off with no money at all. So I had to do organic marketing. And the problem with organic marketing is you spend all of your time focusing on marketing, producing content to bring in views, to bring in sales, until finally, bam, something works and you just shoot up through the roof. You start to make a whole boatload of money, guys. And this is like where I was making the $35,000 in 1 month. Those are dollar symbols, if you're wondering. And I thought, stupidly and naively, that this would be the new standard. This would remain, maybe it would increase, and this would be easy. I would be making thousands of dollars every single month, and I could now finally retire. Unfortunately, as quickly as I hit the top, I fell off the cliff and everything went crashing down until in a matter of days, I went from my absolute maximum, my absolute high, down to the lowest low I've ever been at. In fact, this plummeted even lower than I'd actually started. I was now actually running at a loss because I had all of these fees. I had to return orders, refund orders, and I'd already paid for shipping and marketing, and it was a complete disaster. But I want you guys to now realize that although this is a horrible story, this is like a complete horror story in e-commerce, there is a way out of this problem. And I noticed a very simple framework that solved all of these problems. And I'm going to share that with you. This is what this video is about. I'm going to share you this exact framework because I want you to have success in your business. I don't want you to go through the same thing. I don't want you to have those huge spikes and troughs. I don't want you to go into debt. I want to make sure that you are maintaining a steady, stable business. So I built a framework and an automation that is based on these key principles used by major companies. I'm going to give you this in a second, guys, completely free. You're going to get access to all of this. And this is stuff that's used by serious businesses like Amazon, huge e-commerce brands. So I started to implement this and look at the results that I got in the business. $70,000 from a new e-commerce store, doing insane results. But I want you to notice one thing, right? Back up here, I'm not going to scroll up, but I had that growth that was just up and then back down again. But look at this, completely dead flat. For months on months, I was just making tens of thousands of dollars just on autopilot. The marketing was basically just steady. Customers were coming in, customers were staying, nobody was refunded, nobody was asking for refunds, there were no disputes, everything was perfectly fine. And the best part about this was I no longer was paying $360 a month for that one employee to completely screw up my emails. Then my returning customer rate increased 63.9%. Guys, show me down below in the comments. Let me know. I'm not doing this to brag, but if you can beat 64%, 65% returning customer rate, I'll be very interested to know. The results were insane. And finally, I had an e-commerce business that was just bringing in tens of thousands of dollars, and I thought I was golden. I was happy. This framework, this automation that I'd built was amazing. And now what had happened was my e-commerce store was now making consistent sales, but it was actually following a consistent growing trajectory. It was no longer doing those spikes and troughs. I had a consistent business, reliable income that I knew every single month I would be making the same, if not more money from that business. And I'm going to show you exactly what it was I did, because I added this framework in right at the start, just before I started my business, and look at the results that happened to my business. So now I'm going to show you the exact framework that I used in my business. And don't forget, guys, at the end of this video, I'm going to give you this exact framework for free. So make sure you stick around until the end of that. So beforehand, this is how the business was set up. I was just pumping in traffic from YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, ads. I was just dumping money and traffic on the front end, dumping it onto my website, hoping that people would then buy. And when they bought, I then ignored them. For me, all I cared about was how many people can I dump into this funnel. The more people I put onto my website, the more money that I make. But unfortunately, this is not true. This is not how it works, because the ones that get ignored cause this money to absolutely plummet, because they are the ones that can shut down your store. But don't forget, right, when you're starting out, you don't have much money. You don't have any, maybe you got $100 lying around and you need to use $50 of that to set up your dropshipping store. I didn't have money to hire a team of customer service people to deal with all this growth at the start. And not to mention, you don't know when that growth is going to happen. So what I needed was a solution, and I built a solution, and this is what it looked like afterwards. And guys, this may look intimidating. There is a lot here. I'm going to go through this in detail. I'm going to show you exactly how you can get this set up and the results this had on my business. And don't forget, guys, this is the exact result that allowed my business to maintain that very stable, consistent growth in that business. So I'm going to take you through exactly what this automation is. And this is the automation and framework that I was talking about at the start. It all starts exactly the same way. We've got all of this traffic coming into our business, dumping onto our website. But I realized no matter where they are in that flow, all of them have questions. So we've got people who are just on the website who've got questions about our products. Maybe they want a product recommendation. We've got people shopping around, people adding to cart, and people who are buying. And every step of this process, each one of them has a big fat question mark over their head. And guess what happens? In the traditional sense, they all go to your email account. So if they all go to your email account, what do you need? You need someone to deal with those emails. So don't forget, I'd made some money. I'd had some successful businesses. So when I started this new business, the one that was I showed you a minute ago, that was flatlining, just sort of consistent growth, that I had some money to invest in a team right out at the start. So I went away and I hired an employee, a VA, right at the start, that would be handling all of these questions. But I started to notice a problem. Okay, because the setup time for this was very expensive. I realized that I could do a few things. I needed a contact us page or a help desk. And this actually, I paid someone to set this up. This cost me $500 to set up. And obviously, if you're starting out, this is just not feasible for you. But I knew that this was worth it because, you know, the customer service complaints that I had beforehand took my $35,000 a month business down to zero. In fact, it took me to like negative 5-10 grand. So this was worth it in my eyes. So I set up the help desk, and that allowed me to then gather all of these customer questions into my email inbox. And now I look back at it, I probably could have done this much simpler, much easier. But anyway, it is what it is. So here we go. We then went out and hired a VA from Upwork, and then that VA went through an intensive training process. Again, VA is hired at exactly the same rate, $6 an hour, $360 a month to start off with that work time increasing afterwards. And they were doing other things like fulfilling orders and whatnot. But for the most part, they were dealing with customer questions. So I then had to interview all of these VAs. I had, I think, about 30 applications, and about 15 of them went on to interviews. So I had an hours long interview on average with every single one of these VAs, which meant I spent 15 hours of my life talking to VAs, trying to see which ones would be useful, which ones would actually be able to get the job done for my business, only to then realize I spent times, 8 o'clock at night for them to be messaging me saying, I haven't heard back from you, what's going on, I don't understand, or having questions that were incredibly simple. And it felt like I was just employing a team of babies that didn't understand my business. So then I realized, well, I've got to train these people. So on top of that, I had to spend hours creating training documents for all of these employees. So they went to my website, my blog, I had training documents and video transcripts and FAQ pages, and all of that was given to the VA. And now they could finally get to work. So they would read through my email account. As they saw those emails, they realized, right, we've got two types of issues. We've got simple issues, simple requests, like how do I track my order? Where's the link for the tracking my order? Or complex issues. These can be things like I want a refund, I ordered 6 months ago, nothing turned up, all of those different problems like that. And then from there, we had to prioritize those. Then from there, the VA had to go ahead and find the information for that person. So they had to go and find how to deal with that problem. And right at the start, all of this information was in training documents. I had a Google Doc for all sorts of different things. It was basically just a whole load of SOPs that employee would go to, they would read through, they would scroll down, they would find the specific process that they needed. Once they found that, they would then draft an email reply. They would write out an email reply that they thought was going to deal with that problem. They would then send me a WhatsApp at some stupid hour in the morning to go ahead and check and approve that. And I then had to go in and manually read the draft email, or if they sent me a screenshot, read it. And if I approved it, they would send it. But more often than not, right at the start, I would end up disapproving it and then just telling them exactly what to write anyway. So they would either go back, restart this entire process, reread the training documents, write out another email, ask me to approve it, and then we'll just keep going through this cycle. Or more often than not, I'd say, you know what, sod it, I will just write it and I will just send this email out. So I had built an automation that was kind of working and it was dealing with these responses, but I ended up spending more of my time here. So I was no longer, I don't know how to draw this, but I was no longer spending time in my, that looks dodgy. I was no longer spending time in my business on the things that mattered, marketing. I was spending all of my time micromanaging these employees. So I thought, okay, let's analyze this. It was working, but it was very expensive and time consuming. Plus it was incredibly annoying. And then I realized it had a whole load of other difficulties and problems. There was more that I wanted it to do for me, this automation. It was all it was doing at the moment was replying to incoming emails. It was just managing all the customers in one place. There was no way to prioritize tickets. There was no way to know what big problems I was having in my business. I couldn't organize anything, and I wasn't gathering any data. I had no idea what was happening. So although I was responding to these emails, I didn't know as a business what the problems were. It didn't increase my conversion rates or sales. It just basically stopped things from going wrong. So I thought, okay, I've got to improve this. So actually, I ended up setting up an AI automation using ChatGPT that could end up working 24/7. And the best part was it would do all of this work for me, wouldn't cost me as much money, and So I set it up. And it was actually very, very difficult to set up. This is what it looks like. And don't forget, guys, I'll give you this exact framework. It's a plug-and-play system. This may seem complicated, but it's incredibly easy to get set up. And essentially, it was exactly the same thing. All of the traffic was coming into the website. All of the people on this website had questions. But this time, as opposed to going and hiring someone, training them up, getting on calls with them, getting them to respond to emails, send me approvals, and then me having to rewrite it all, I sent all of this knowledge and data from all of these training documents to an AI brain. Massive check mark. Now an AI brain understood everything about my business. So in a matter of clicks, this took me, by the way, about 10 minutes to set up. 10 minutes to train an AI brain. Just for context, right? Remember this system here, I spent 15 hours just interviewing the VAs. I don't know how long I spent training them up, but it must have been another 15 hours at least, just building the training documents. So in 10 minutes, I now had an AI brain that was capable of doing exactly what that VA was doing. And this was 155,000 words here, 155,000 words in this AI brain that the AI ChatGPT can now use to respond to questions. I then ended up spending hours creating a system that allowed me to embed this onto my website. So I now had a chatbot on my website that would actually do all of this automation for me. It would collect and converse with customers. So if somebody came in and they had a question about my business or the products that I was selling, they could ask it and the chatbot would give them the exact step-by-step process. Now, you'll remember earlier I had the simple and complex issues. Now the AI is able to deal with this. 80% of the questions that were coming in were being dealt with by the AI in a very, very simple chat reply. And this was like the first version 1 of this automation. All it was doing was just responding with chat responses. And we've seen chatbots before, right? You've maybe even added one to your website. But there's a few problems with chatbots. The first thing is they can't deal with complex issues. The second thing is they're incredibly unreliable. You never know what the response is going to be, especially if you're using AI. And also, people like to have the ability to be able to talk to a human if they want to. So I ended up building a system that would allow me to deal with these complex issues, and it would automatically prioritize these complex issues into high, medium, and low, and I could set these up in whichever way that I wanted. So for me, high ticket priorities were things like people wanting a refund or they never got their order or something was broken. And then I set up a system that would allow the AI to hand this off to a human. I also got an alert as well. So what was now happening was I was given a notification and I could either go in and respond to the email myself and write out an email. And that's how I started off right at the beginning. But I ended up realizing that I was just spending hours on this and I didn't want to be doing that. So I thought, okay, well, why not do this? This brain already has the information on how to deal with this customer's problem. So let's see if it can draft out an email response. It's typically, it would be people saying, look, I want a refund. So I would go and process the refund, but then I need to respond to them saying, yeah, we'll process the refund, don't worry about it. Or can we get this extra additional information from you? So what I did was I built a system here where it would actually use the knowledge from the chatbot to actually respond to that question. And I could give the AI context. I could say, look, can you ask the customer to give me their order number? And it would just give me an email and I could then send it automated. Awesome. So I added this to my business and things were groovy. Things were going great. I was making a lot of money. I was saving a lot of money and saving an awful lot of time. But this total thing set up probably took me, I would say, I don't know, it was about 3 weeks to set up, maybe even 5 weeks to get this set up. I had to hire developers, I had to do a whole host of things to get all this set up. So then I thought, right, now this is working and I'm making money, let's add some extra features. Because don't forget, right, all I'd done at this point was I'd built a system that was saving me money, but I wanted to make money. I told you guys at the beginning, we're trying to make money. We're trying to increase the conversion rates on the website. So I thought, right, I've got a chatbot on my website. What else do I need? Well, now the chatbot can actually track and gather leads. It can give them all the contact information, all the answers to their questions anyway, but it can gather lead information. So now I had emails that I was collecting. Don't forget, I'm getting about 1,000 people to my website every day. So I'm collecting tens, if not hundreds of leads every day just from people talking to my chatbot. And these leads I can then remarket to with email marketing to sell more products to. And this was probably one of the biggest needle movers that moved me to that massively consistent upscale in my revenue. I showed you guys that graph before. I've shown you some of the revenue numbers I was hitting and the numbers were beginning to become insane. So this was an automation I'd set up. I then thought, right, well, I've got an AI that knows about my business and my website and my products. Let's get it to recommend me products. So you can see here, right, recommend me a product for dry skin. I recommend this product. Now the AI is able to recommend a specific product from my website. and it can hyperlink it directly to that product as well. So now people could talk to the chatbot on the homepage of my website. They wouldn't have to search through the entire website. On any page of it, they could then ask for a product recommendation and it would give it to them. And then I added in automated ticket collection. And this bit here is the human handoff part. Okay, so if you guys are a bit confused, that bit there is the automated ticket collection. So now what's happening is if I'm getting a question coming into the chatbot, if people are confused or they need extra help from a human, the AI would recognize the context of that conversation and it would then hand that person off to a human support. Cool. This is what happened. This worked mad. This went insane. And when I say insane, right, $217,000 in 1 month. This is insane. And don't forget, guys, look at this. The new floor is around $5,000 a day. The high is $12,500 a day. This is a flat, if not increasing trend. Okay, we're seeing steady growth in the business. We're seeing consistent income. We're not seeing the death circle of a traditional dropshipping store, all because of this automation that I set up. And this is me setting this up on client stores. I've got other businesses using this automation and it has been working absolutely amazingly. So this seems very complicated, but don't worry, guys. I have created a software that will do all of this for you. This is probably the biggest needle mover in your business. And don't forget, it took me 3 to 5 weeks to set up, and I'm going to let you know how you can set it up in a matter of minutes. So here's what I did. I set up an automation that will allow you to auto-train an AI on your website. You can brand it in your own custom branding, so it'll have your logo and your colors. You can put it on your website. It can understand everything about your website. Sitemap, for those of you guys who don't know, is just basically all of the links on your website. I wanted to focus on efficiency, 24/7 support. I set up this software so you can now set up 24/7 support. You can give your customers instant AI replies. The AI has its own custom memory that you can control, you can edit and you can change, so you can make sure that it's not hallucinating. One of the biggest problems with building an AI chatbot is it's hallucinating. If you've got an AI employee support solution, you need to make sure that it's responding consistently every single time. So I've set that up for you as well, guys. You don't need to worry about any of that. Human handoff. Already organized. That's already been done. That's part of the ticketing solution. If a customer has a problem that the AI can't deal with, it will ask them to submit a support ticket, and then it will take them through that entire process of prioritization and automating replies to customers, which I showed you earlier. It's got a built-in support ticketing solution and prioritization, but it gets more. You get more than this, guys. Automation is working 24/7, like I said, but it also integrates with SendGrid. You can set up your own customer service email account with SendGrid, and you can automatically send out these replies. This is what the software looks like, guys. Here, this is the chatbot playground. You can build your own chatbot. You can train it on your own data. You can customize it. You can change the introduction messages. You can change the branding to match your website. You can actually train your chatbot on your website. You can actually directly upload data from your website. All of these are product pages from the website. You just put in your URL, click one button, and the software will do the rest. Look at all these product pages in here. I can build multiple chatbots that can collect leads, give away product information, recommend products. I can automate support ticketing. You can see here, we've gathered all of our support tickets in one place. We can actually get notifications on when support tickets come through. It's categorizing these support tickets. We've got account level issues here. We can actually then automatically respond to these support tickets and send out email replies via SendGrid. In this case, I've done an example. Please tell the customer we cannot offer a refund, but we can cancel their subscription. The AI has written a reply to the support ticket for us, and we can analyze customer conversations and chat history. Now, it can do more than that, right? It can actually generate ticket replies for you. It can custom prioritize notifications. I've gone through this, leads from your website, it's gathering. But more importantly, right, it's doing sales for you. 24/7 on your website, it's actually recommending products to the customers and increasing your conversion rates. Remember, we're trying to build a store here that goes from zero to tens of thousands of dollars every single month and follows an upwards trajectory. We want to be making money passively. We want to be able to spend time on the things that matter in our business and not spending time building custom automations for our customer service. And guys, you can get all of this for free for 7 days. So this is how it's going to work, right? Head to the top link down below in the description. You're going to go to ChatIQ. You can actually go ahead and create an account, put in your details, sign up with Google or whatever you want to do. It's going to take you through a 3-step onboarding process. Just let me know why you want to use ChatIQ. What is the purpose? What are you trying to create here? Where did you hear of me? If you came from this video, obviously just put it on YouTube. But then, guys, I'm going to ask you if you want this software, if you want this automation, if you want to be able to automate your customer service, if you want to be able to get all of these different features for free, remember guys, how much money this made my business. If you want to start seeing huge numbers like this in your business, if you want to see consistent growth, all I ask is you sign up for a free trial. That is it. You don't even have to charge your card. Just put in your card details. You get 7 days to try this out for free. It's going to be everything that I've mentioned. You get access to absolutely everything for free for 7 days, and then it's going to take you to the software. This is what the software looks like. I've shown you some screenshots. There are videos all throughout the software explaining how to use it. And then guys, after those 7 days, you can use all of this stuff for just $30 every single month. That is it, $30 a month. Don't forget, right beforehand, I was paying a customer service employee that could do one job, and I was paying them $360 every single month. That comes out to about $4,000 to $5,000 every single year, right? That's what I was paying a human to do this job. And I've built you guys a software, an automation that can do all of this for just $30 a month. This is what you're going to get access to. Guys, I have left the link down below in the description. Go ahead and click it. It's going to take you to the ChatIQ website. This is what the website looks like. Click on Start Your Free Trial. It's going to take you to the sign up page, and then you can create your own chatbot. This is what the dashboard looks like. This is the software that I'm using. This is how I'm talking to the chatbots. You can see it's actually working live. If I go into the data, you can see this is all the data that the chatbot is using on my website. Obviously, it's able to respond to customers' questions. If I want, I can actually change the responses from the chatbot. I can update them if I think it's hallucinating. I can actually set up support ticketing. You can see here, this is the support ticketing solution. I can change the customization of these categories. I can see the support tickets in my business. I can categorize those support tickets. I can set up notifications. I can train this on all the data from my website. It's honestly insane what this software can do, guys. The link is down below in the description. Go ahead, start your free trial, put in your card details. It's only going to be $30 a month after 7 days, but don't forget, you do have 7 days to try it for free. If you guys have got any questions, let me know down below in the comments, and I will see you guys in my next